Well, hello, everybody. We're back. It's a Monday, and we're back with another judge who's running, Chelsey Robinson. And make sure you all follow us on all our social media outlets as Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Tumblr, Pinterest, TikTok, YouTube. Subscribe to the website, toawomansheart.com, the social media outlet for women, toawomansheart.org, and get your t-shirt that speaks to the heart of a woman at toawomansheart.store. So I said when we started with Meredith on Wednesday, we did Lisa on Saturday, that I was bringing these beautiful ladies who's running for the Circuit Court of Cook County, and it's countywide. And so, in order to put a face with a name, so we can understand when we go to the polls how important it is to know who's on the ballots. So, for those who probably would usually call me, I have placed a shortcut right before you. Now you have the face with the names, and they're going to run their resume for you and let you know what they do and why they are running for judge. So, Chelsey, I thank you for stopping by and chatting with us a little bit, and let everyone know why you decided to run for judge, uh, what you've been doing. Do you have a private practice and all this stuff? And talk about your platform. Just inform the people a little bit.
Hello, everyone. My name is Chelsey Renece Robinson, and I am running for Cook County Circuit Court Judge. I have 25 years of experience. I do civil and criminal litigation. I have been doing that for over 25 years. That means I do things as small as a traffic matter and as large as a murder case. Civil litigation, which includes family law, breach of contract, real estate, pretty much a wide range of things. And I have a very diverse practice. I even do bankruptcies, employment discrimination cases, prisoner rights cases. I've been blessed enough. I started my practice, my own practice, right out of law school. So I had a lot of experienced attorney mentors who helped me pave my way in the legal community. And I do thank God for that. So I've been doing that for over 25 years. I'm also the attorney for the Judge Mathis Show. I've been doing that for 19 years or 19 seasons, but I treat all of my clients as if they are the Honorable Greg Mathis, because everybody deserves that. And that's one of the reasons why I'm running for judge, because I see that a lot of times when litigants and attorneys come before judges, they do not treat them with respect. And that sometimes when it comes to criminal defendants, they will treat them as if they're guilty before a word has been spoken. But the Constitution tells us that we are innocent until proven guilty. So I believe that everybody should have a meaningful day in court, and that the judge should treat them with the respect that he or she deserves. So I want to be the change I want to see on the bench. So that's why I'm running for judge. I've also done a lot of community service. My husband is the pastor of the Promised Land Missionary Baptist Church. And with his help, we have done so many things in the community. Mainly every year we do I Am My Brother's Keeper's Barbecue. We've been doing that for over 17 years. Where we bring resources in the community. It's like a big community barbecue, but we don't just feed the community or have games for the children, give them school supplies, but we also bring in information about housing, school, trade schools, so we can equip our community with the things they need to succeed. We also have been doing the expungement seminars for over 15 years, and we started the Pro Vision Project, which is a mentoring program where we mentor juveniles in a juvenile detention center. So when they come out, they can make different choices. So.
Okay, you say you have an expungement program. When does that take place, and how often does it take place?
We do it yearly, the third week of July. The one that we have coming up, I believe, is July 23rd. It will be at 648 West 119th Street. The church where we have service at as well. The the Holy Ghost Revival Tabernacle. And
Okay,
it's
because I know.
from 10 to 3.
Okay, because I know a lot of individuals are always looking for somewhere where they can go and get their records expunged. They used to advertise it a lot, but it seems like that advertising for expungement is minimized, and I don't know the reasons why. I guess they don't want them to expunge their record, but just to know that information that is still going on somewhere in the city of Chicago is a good thing. And so for those who watch on replay, if you have any family members who need their records expunged, she has provided a location, and it's around before July the 4th weekend that you can
Correct.
attend and get your record expunged, which is good information to know. And then you also mentioned something.
In regards to the expungement, we do the barbecue a week before. So I'm out there giving the people the information so they can go get a copy of their fingerprints, so we can get a copy of their record, so we can make sure we have all the tools we need when the attorneys are there to make sure that we fill out the paperwork. So
Oh, so they have to have a copy of their fingerprints in order to get their
yeah,
record.
their records. Yeah, so you can, if it's in the city of Chicago, normally you can go to 35th in Michigan. You come one day, you get your fingerprints done, then you come back and they'll give you a copy of your record. And you may have cases outside of the city of Chicago, you can get a copy of your record through the state police. And a lot of times you get that information online with the state police. And there's different locations you can go to get your fingerprints done, and then you send it to the state police, and then they'll send you a copy of your record.
Okay, because a lot of people, I have a friend who has a brother. She was trying to work on getting his record expunged. She called me. I'm like, okay, that's out of my lane. I don't have no idea. I'm not an attorney. And so I don't know. So I made phone calls, but the people that I knew was doing the program of expunging records, they wasn't doing it anymore. And so it was like it just disappeared. Like it was all of a sudden a big thing, and then all of a sudden it just disappeared. It wasn't even relevant anymore, which I know is still important to a lot of individuals, especially when they want to move forward in their life. They want to live a better quality of life, and they want to seal up some things and get rid of it. So I understand that. So that's good to know that that's going to happen. Right before the 4th of July. Now you talk about you do the barbecue for 17 years. So I am my brother's keeper. And when is the barbecue that you do for the community?
So we do the barbecue the week before we do the expungement, because that's when
Okay.
I like to give them. So it's the Saturday before. So I'm trying to see what that would be. That'd be the 16th, July 16th. And it's
Okay.
the same time at the same location. So
Okay.
we do it. It's an empty lot right across the street where we do it, and we also partner sometimes with the 5th District Pastoral Subcommittee, which we are also involved in. And sometimes the officers come over, talk to the community, make sure that the community know who they are. They bring their big grill. We have a big grill. Barbecue, chicken, hot dogs, hamburgers, depending on what their budget is. I know we started off, my husband was all about the barbecue, and I'm like, okay, kids really like hamburgers, and
And
he's
hot
like,
dog.
they just don't really eat it. It's just going
Right.
to waste. So I'm
Right.
like, make sure we have some hamburgers and hot dogs for the children. But yeah, so we do it a week before, and we're doing the barbecue till, I believe that would be, if I said it right, July 16th.
Okay.
Yeah,
That's
same
good.
time, 10 to 3.
Okay, that's good to know. Question. So, if anybody wants to know information, we hadn't had this conversation about expungement, different things like that. Is there an avenue where someone could just go look this up somewhere? Is there a website that provide all this information that you're aware of?
Well, the website that I'm aware of, they used to provide it on the Cook County Clerk of Court's website, and they do
Mhm.
also, I believe, provide it on the Appellate Defender's website, where
Okay.
they provide the forms. Now, to be perfectly honest with you, the forms are supposed to be user friendly, so people can actually fill them out for themselves without an attorney. But my experience is that if then this, if then this can be kind of confusing even for the legal mind.
Right.
So sometimes it's good to have an attorney to assist you. And because it's supposed to be so people can do without an attorney, I think it's important for us as attorneys to give back and make sure we're doing it for people for free and not
Yeah.
charging. So.
Yeah. I think that's important too, because I was saying the other day that a lot of people are discouraged. They're
Mm-hmm.
discouraged by the judicial system. They're discouraged by attorneys because they have been burnt. And personally, I've dealt with a couple of attorneys on other levels, and I've been burnt. And it's a hard thing to get past. You know what I'm saying? Once you've been burned by somebody, it's difficult. And the saying goes, one apple spoils the bunch,
Mm-hmm.
where people take that literally and they compare everybody else from their one incident that they have dealt with, not realizing that there are individuals out here like you, uh, judges and attorneys out here like Lisa and Meredith, that's really for the heart of the people and out here to make a difference. And because we have closed ourselves off so much, we don't even have an open eye just to peek through to
Mm-hmm.
see the possibilities of change, or to believe that somebody can actually sit in a seat and be the change that they want to see.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I'm glad I've had an opportunity to meet up with those amazing women, Meredith and Taylor, because it's a group of us. It's
Mm-hmm.
a lot of us out there that now we're willing to go do what we need to do to continue to make that change. We have done just so much. You can only do so much as an attorney. And
Mm-hmm.
I think we've all put in the work to do that, working in our community. Also, uh, even going into the classrooms, doing lawyers in the classroom and street law classes with the children, and mentoring our teenagers. I even bring them to court with me. So if that's something they would like to do, they can be in the courtroom. A courtroom, they're not the defendant. They don't have a case. It won't be like the first time you go into the courtroom, you're afraid, you're a little nervous. They'll feel calm. They'll know what each person is doing in the courtroom. And a lot of times I was able to have the judge to take them in the back in the chambers to talk to them, to put them at ease. And I think that that's important. Now, as a judge, I can be the one that's talking to the young people that's coming into the courtroom, taking time out, even when there's a busy call, to let them know what's going on a few moments. And that's another thing judges a lot of times don't do. I have heard so many people say they go in the courtroom and they have pled guilty to a case and they don't even realize it. That that's how quick it should never be. The judge should not be that much in a hurry that he or she does not take the time to explain what's going on, especially when we're dealing with people with a criminal case. Because
Mm-hmm.
a lot of times they say, "Oh, it was dismissed." And then I look at the record and was like, no, you pled guilty. You got time served, because they think if they don't actually have to do anything or they don't have
Right.
to go to jail, then it was dismissed. But time served is a conviction, and it can
Mm-hmm.
sometimes stop you from getting the type of jobs you want. And that's another reason why we do the expungement. Because you have people who have made mistakes when they were younger,
Mm-hmm.
even just fled because they were afraid, when they were younger. And now that we go 20, 30 years later, and it's preventing them from moving up the financial ladder that they want to achieve different things. So,
And that makes sense. To inform, not just to educate them on the process and procedures of going into a courtroom, but also to equip them to know this is not the route that you want to go. So you have to do the things to make sure that you don't go that route, be it hanging with somebody that you're not familiar with. Your parents tell you, don't hang out with Johnny, don't hang out with Mary. They're bad company. But then we think our parents don't know anything. And we hang out with Johnny, we hang out with Mary, and we end up in trouble. Now we got mud on our face and we're trying to figure out how we got in this situation. Let's on how we going to get out of it. Now we're in a panic state because let's be realistic, the society we live in, depending on the color of your skin, You already judged, prejudged before you even walk in some of these courtrooms, and
Right.
you're already labeled as being a thug, you labeled as doing this, and sometimes it is not even your intentions to be in a situation you are in. It just you happen to be with the wrong person at the wrong time, and you got caught up. But that one little caught up messed up the rest of your life.
Exactly. And that's why we want judges on the bench that can be fair, you know,
Mm,
and that can truly bring us equal justice for all. Because what you said is what I hear from a lot of my clients. They are afraid to exercise their constitutional right to a trial because you said the judges already labeled them a thug without
mhm,
even hearing a word out of the litigant's mouth. You've already decided this person has done wrong. And that
right.
should not be. You have to go in there with a clear mind so you can be able to listen to the evidence and fairly uh, make decisions, based on what you heard, not by preconceived notions or feelings or that you may have about someone, about the area where they grew up. So,
Yeah, and then the thing for me is when you walk into the courtroom, I always look on the wall and say, "In God we trust." And in God, He does things decent and in order. And so if you have that displayed largely on the wall, then you have to question when you're in some of these rooms and you see some of the things that's being done. And then I look back and I said, but it said in God we trust. And God don't lie. He does things decent and in order. And then he also gives second chances over and over again. And then you have to think about the oath of office in which you're taking and how you're representing your seat in front of people. Because I take it in. And I, like you said, you talk to people, I talk to people too. And they're so discouraged. There are some mothers who just really heartbroken with some of their family members that got tricked into taking some of those plea bargains. And it's a bad reflection on the system. And I'm a person, I work in the community a lot. And so a couple of years ago, before we got into COVID, they had um, an Amber Hall on Division, and I think it's Lockwood or somewhere over there. And the state's attorney's office, every office, Prep Winkle office, all these offices were represented. They was working with MacArthur Foundation, and they was talking about prison reform. And I told them, you just can't talk about it, just spilling words out of your mouth. When those parents and those loved ones got up and they started talking, they was angry. And you can not only hear the anger, but you can feel the anger from them because they had been led to believe one thing and shown something else. And so people are standing before them talking about, well, we're looking at what you're saying, we're hearing what you're saying, but you putting up statistical data that says 90% that's in the prison system is black and brown. And 50% of those individuals in there are innocent. So how do you think that people are going to analyze the information that you're presenting? So now you saying you like talking out both sides of your mouth. So you talking about reform, but nothing is being reformed. And it's sad. So I applaud you, Meredith and Lisa, for stepping into a lion's den, as I call it, because truly it is a lion's den. And I can only imagine, even when you go in with the greatest of heart, the challenges that you, Lisa, and Meredith is going to face when you hit the bench. Not just being a judge, but being a black woman and stepping into the seat of being a judge. See, what people don't realize and understand, it's a lot. And me and Lisa was talking about Kataja Brown, who ended up in the Supreme Court. But I said, what God has for you, it is for you, and nobody can take that away for you. So for me,
that's
I am walking in affirmation. I am believing. I'm praying that you, Lisa, and Meredith be the change that we want to see and that we need at this very moment.
Thank you. Thank you. And one thing you said, I totally agree. It's not all about punishment, it's also about rehabilitation.
Mm-hmm.
And that we get lost in that. Sometimes we punish, punish, punish. And then when people get out of the system, they have not been rehabilitated, so they reoffend. And we
Mm-hmm.
want to make sure that that doesn't happen.
Mm-hmm.
You have to have that rehabilitation portion there. And
Mm-hmm.
that's what, I seek to do when I say I want to be fair and I want it to
Mm-hmm.
be equal justice for all,
Mm-hmm.
you know,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm dedicated to that because we know in certain neighborhoods, you make a mistake, there is rehabilitation. There are
Mm-hmm.
programs that they direct you to divert you from the prison system. But in our
Mm-hmm.
neighborhood, we have young kids make one mistake, and that's just the end of their life, and it should not be.
It
You know,
shouldn't.
it
It
should not be.
shouldn't. It shouldn't. I just was on a couple months ago. It was a youth call that these youth were tried as teenagers, and half of them got 20. They went in as 13, and they didn't get out until they was almost 40. And I was just in awe because I'm just listening at the conversation that they admitted that hang with the wrong people, be around the wrong people at the wrong time, got them caught up. But what they was given, and like you said, no rehabilitation, no thought process, no programming. And the most sad part, the saddest part to me was that some of them did not even have good English. You know what I'm saying? Their English was so broken, and but they was still, they had the willingness to make a difference and to help other youth not to make the same mistakes that they did. And so I was looking, I was like, well, we spend all our time highlighting all the bad that they do, how they get caught up in the system, how they spend all the time in there. But we never reround and highlight how they came out and they changed somebody else's life. Maybe three individuals, it could have been three individuals that could have been in juvenile detention. But we never highlight those things. We always highlight what they did wrong, but we never highlight what they get right. And I think if we would learn how to highlight what they get right, their mindset would change about a lot of things, and they would not end up being repeat offenders because they would feel like somebody actually cared.
As you know, I said that my husband is a pastor. So
Mm-hmm.
I am a Christian. And based on what you were saying, what came to my mind is that there's power of life and death in the tongue.
Mm-hmm.
So, like you said, we're speaking death over these individuals instead of life. We
Mm-hmm.
should, like you said, highlight the good things that they've done and not just the bad things, not just the mistakes, because we're trying to let them know that you're more than your past. That's your
Mm-hmm.
past. You can go a different path. We can see this based on these things that you've done and these
Right.
things that you've done, as opposed to us saying, okay, you're a felon, you always going to be a felon or an ex-felon, and that's your life path. It doesn't benefit society at all to do that. Because like you said, if we give them the tools to work with, teach them how to fish, give them a trade and other opportunities to get a job, because a lot of times crime comes from a lack of finances, you
Mm-hmm.
know, so we giving them other options. So you
Right.
giving them the tools that they need. Now, ultimately, it's that person would have to make the decision. But
Right.
if we as a society are giving the people in our community the tools that they need to succeed, then we won't see a lot of this repeat of offending. So,
I agree. And I always say, I tell people, even when I talk to those who have been in the system and came out, and even a drug addict, when I worked at the men's recovery facility, I used to tell them, the only difference between me and you is my addiction is different than yours. And the only difference between me being locked up, you got caught and I didn't. That's pretty much the only difference. But we've all done something in our life, whether we want to acknowledge it or not, that could have got us thrown up under. somewhere or addicted to something. So when we talk about looking at somebody and prejudging, we need to think about that. When they say point that one finger, think about the fingers that's pointing back at you. We really should marinate on that before we just get the rope and the noose and put around people's neck before we decide we want to be the hanger. So,
And that's what that compassion comes in, and you need that
mhm,
as a judge. We have to be fair, compassionate, balanced, and firm when we need to be. But you can't
mhm,
just always be firm and always, you know, throwing down a hammer. You have to be compassionate. You got to look at the circumstances and situations, because the circumstances and situations of a young Black male on the west side and south side of Chicago may be different than that of a white male on the north side of Chicago. And you have to take in all of that when making
mhm.
your decisions.
I agree. I agree. Well, I appreciate your heart.
Thank you.
I appreciate your boldness. I appreciate your courage. And I appreciate your talent and your skills taking on this task to make a difference in that seat. And as I've told Lisa and as I told Meredith, I'm praying that you all will sit in those seats, each one of you. We need you in those seats. It is so important. And for those who will watch now or on replay, listen. Again, I'm going to say this over and over till it sinks in. Be the change you want to see. We have good people that's running for office. Chelsea number is 181. Make sure you memorize these numbers. You done had three judges that I presented to you. You have three sets of numbers. Memorize these numbers. We need to create some diversity in our court system because right now it is way out of balance. And we need to leverage our judges in our court system. So we complain behind closed doors, we fuss. Well, now your voice is your vote. So use your voice in your vote, whether you're early voting or you're going to vote on June 28th. Use your voice in your vote. And then when you put these ladies in the seat, you will see a change. This is how reform starts, by changing the seats. And so if we want to see real reform and real change, we need to put these ladies in the seat of being a judge in the Cook County Circuit Court because they need to be there for the heart, for their talent, and for the understanding of the culture. Understand me when I say. And she's a God woman too. All right? I want y'all to know that. Understand me when I say. We need some Jesus up in these courtrooms. That's power right there. All right, Chelsea, you have anything you want to leave with the people before we close this out that you want to say and let them know?
Well, I just want to emphasize again, my name is Chelsey Renece Robinson, running for Democratic Cook County Circuit Court Judge, county-wide. I'm experienced, fair, dedicated to justice. Punch 181 and let's get it done.
All right, 181, and let's get it done. Her website is www.electchelsea.com. Do your research. But I'm going to say this again. Listen to the heart of those who's running for office. If you listen to the heart and not just the words, you put the right person in the seat. I promise you. So don't forget to punch 181. I want to say thank you to Chelsea for taking out the time to have conversation with us and just giving some insight of who she is as an individual. And I truly appreciate it. And I hope even after you all get in the seat, we stay in touch.
Yes, yes.
All
Thank you.
right.
Thank you so
All
much for
right.
this time.
Thank you.
Thank
Take
you.
care.
You
All
too.
right.
Bye.
Bye bye.